When we're finding names for this kind of stuff on these programs, I always have that default of fitting results and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I start getting this information and I get three or four different extra topics. So we're going to go with three or four extra topics next on What's in My Drawer Golf Talk. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here. And why is it What's in My Drawers? Because it's What's in My Drawers in the shop. And it's because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I am no different. This is about golf club repairs, reviews, and fittings, all so your scores can go low. If you would, look at what's going across the bottom here and hit that like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's get some subscribership going. Okay, so we got a lot. Actually, we got quite a bit to cover today. And as far as builds and things we did and stuff going on, that kind of stuff. However, first and foremost, today is our 21st anniversary with McGolf. 21 years in operation with Mrs. McGolf. I'm telling you what, it wouldn't, and I'm here to tell you, it wouldn't have happened without her help, without her insistence, without her, how should we say, questioning some of my decisions, and then also going along with some of the silly stuff that I wanted to do. So thank you, Miss McGolf. 21 years. That is what I would call a one heck of a run for a golf shop, particularly a mom and pop golf shop. You normally don't see that out there. So I'm glad that we stuck with it. I'm glad that we're able to talk with you guys about it. And I'm just glad that we're doing it right here. All right. So there we got that one out of the way. Bunch of builds. We have a bunch of builds today. This week we threw out some golf clubs in a hurry. And this is some Tacomos, some Tacomo left-handed ones. And we ended up putting some dynamic gold 100s in them. I believe they're 100s. Yeah, dynamic gold R300. They're dynamic gold 100 for the weight. And we ended up putting the star grips on them. And they're just the regular black star grips, very, very tacky. And there's an overall arching set of what they look like. Now, what was the special thing about this one? Number one is the Tacomos in this particular model. I believe that's either the 201 or the 101. Comes with a parallel shaft. And what we wanted, it came in, was a taper tip shaft, which means you have to use a shim. When you have to use a shim, that means you're using extra glue because you want to make sure all the surfaces get coated prior to installing. And then you run the risk of a hydraulic push from the exothermic reaction that it comes from when the glue is trying to dry. Now, the other part is that we used, if you look on this, BB&F ferrules. And I like BB&F ferrules because they're very strong. But what had happened on two of them was one hydraulically pushed. And it was just it was enough to aggravate me. So off they came, on they went, and of course they sent a couple extras, thankfully. And then another one, which I've never had this one happen, which was unique. The reason why I'm telling you is when I was putting the shim. So the shim looks like this. All right, it's just a big 6-pronged brass flat piece that's been cut into a star, and it finds itself around a shaft like that. And what had happened was, and I didn't notice it until later, that one of the fingers of this thing had broken off the bottom and found its way in between the ferrule and the top of the hosel, and it was covered because it was bent like this, and the hosel was on top of it. So if it was bent, it was in the top of the hosel was just wide enough because it was bigger than the outside of the ferrule, or outside the top of the ferrule. The bottom of the ferrule was covering up the broken bent piece of the shim because it was bent over the top of the hosel being covered by the ferrule until I started shaving it down. I was like, what is that noise? And I'm always feeling around, and I caught my thumb on it. I'm like, what is that? Turns out it was a piece of that shim. And I tried pulling on it, it was trapped. So off that came, put them back together, used another pair, and now they all look like that. All right, they all came out really, really nice. The other one is that he wanted a particular swing weight, and it was a D1-ish, D0, D1, and I had to put in 8 grams of weight because of the light weight of the shaft and the heavy of the grip, and that's what you see on the and that was on the video that went out. And so hopefully you guys went and saw the video that was released Sunday. So hopefully you guys saw it. If not, go back and watch that after this. All right, so that one went to Pennsylvania. All right, Pennsylvania. So that was all right. Then we do this one, Jack and Jackie. All right, Jack and Jackie. There was a couple, and they came and got fit, and wow, what a difference a fitting makes. And as you can tell, they're quite a bit different than each other. Sometimes what happens is you do get a where the golf is so similar, you're just getting stiffer or more flexible or lighter than the other one. But in this particular case, that was not the point here. And what it was is the guy golfer, Jack, was a bit stronger, had a little bit more aggressive turn onto the ball, and so we ended up with some apexes and some opus wedges. But if you can tell, we were using graphite shafts because and what it was a weight thing. We needed a lighter weight, but we needed a stiffer profile, and the graphite worked out fine. And we gained him some serious yardage. Now, the Jackie, on the other hand, this was a lot of fun. Jackie is one heck of a golfer, and we got her into the elites. All right, we got her into the elite, and they both ended up in elite hybrids, but of different varieties. And on this one, the elite, we put in the Denali in the 60A, actually the 50A, I believe. And what the deal was for her was she was a shorter person, and they said, "Oh, we gave you shorter clubs." They did, but by not very much. And so she's been making these swing moves to try and make those golf clubs work. Well, as soon as we gave her the right length of the golf club, she started pounding it and started hitting it straighter and started getting into it a lot better. And again, a much, much better result. Now, did she get a whole club? No, but what happened for her was her dispersion went and got really, really, really tight. So when they go out and they can go play, now they can play as a couple and get on and play off of each other for either dispersion or distance, and it's on, right? Absolutely on. And those are going to Kansas City. Now, I'm down with Kansas City. I lived outside of there for a while, and it turns out they knew exactly where I was talking about. All right, we got another set, and these are PXGs. I reworked some PXGs, and this is why I did a video on this one about the dirty little secret of PXGs and PXG repair. This is the one I did. I'm sorry. And what we did is we took out the original shaft, which was a really nice darker shaft. So and we took those out, and we ended up putting in the Modus. So it was funny, we took out steel fiber and put in Modus and for him. And again, swing weight was not an issue on this one, but getting the ferrule centered was. And you've seen that if you go look in the library of the videos from the channel, you cut off the shoulder from the ferrule that's meant to go in there, the original one, and shove that in there, and then you put all the other the regular ferrule that you want on there. And if you look at these are got kind of a neat little chrome and white and black on them. Those actually come from Golf Works. Very, very nice one. They clean up really good, get nice and shiny in the whole 9 yards. All right, last one. Yeah, and this one had something different on it that I've not seen. Maybe you guys have. Are those grips? Look at those. Those are Tour Velvets. Okay, Tour Velvet grips, but they're Tour Velvet tacks. All right, Tour Velvet tacks. These are extraordinarily sticky. So if you're a person that likes a sticky grip, you want to check that out. And there's 2 models of it, and I just remember looking at it, and for life of me, I couldn't tell you, but there are 2 sticky models. So if you like that, there you go. This is packed full of information today. Last one was some Wilsons, and we put some steel fibers. So we took steel fibers out of the other one and put steel fibers in this one, not the same ones, and put some more of the GolfWorks double chrome ferrules. He said I could pick. I like those. It kind of gives it a classic look. I just thought they turned out really, really nice. And then we put some Jumbo Max on there, right? So we put the Jumbo Max on there, and it turned out a nice set. So I just wanted to show this one, and we were talking about the 21st anniversary of us. This was our first year. Me and Mrs. McGolf in front of a sign that we had made for us, and those little arches are for some roses that we were growing. And that's my dog Nick, and behind there you see some in between us was our original cocker, and that was Buttons. That was my mom's dog. So we did that. All right. So those are the ones, and those are, and then some fitting. We did one more. I did a fitting for a tall gentleman. He was 6'5", about 6'5", a taller fella, but he had shorter arms. And he says, I'm tired of bending over. And he already had clubs that were, basically about a half of an inch long. And I said, well, what do we want to do here? And he says, well, I thought they were always standard. And I said, well, he had 1 or 2 that were, but the rest of them were a little bit taller. So I put him through the paces, and it turns out we needed to make him 1.5 inches over, right? 1.5 inches over, I think. Was it 1.5 inches? I think 1 inch to it was either 1 inch to 1.5 inches over. You want to talk about making a difference. He has a disc issue, and every once in a while it pops out. Well, this put him in a position to where he just felt so comfortable. And this guy he's in his late 60s. And he's still hitting the ball further than I am, and he's only a few years older than me, but he's hitting the ball. He can hit the ball. We got done with it. I said, what's your 150-yard club? And he said, well, if I'm hitting it well, of course if I'm hitting it well, it's a 9-iron, and so it means it's about an 8. When we got all said and done, I had him hitting the 7-iron out to 175. So if you track it back down, he's almost back into a pitching wedge, and hitting it well too. That's the other part, hitting it well. So that just goes in line. I'm just getting on the soapbox for fitting, and everybody says, oh, you don't need that, or how to hack it. Well, that's crap. Go through the process, get her done, and know exactly what you need. Now, what you do with it after that, that's purely on you, because you're paying for this service, and then go from there. All right. So Saturday we had a visitor that he watches us here on the live stream, and he says he's down there and he listens to us on the way home in the car, and his name goes by G27. He's out of Texas, and there he is. We were getting ready to go to a funeral, so we had him there, and he is in the golf management business, so that was kind of fun. We had a good little talk, and I got to see a really cool sports car too. That was kind of a neat ordeal. And then we got to talk for just a little bit. We would have talked for a lot longer, but I had a funeral to attend. When I told you about the person that works in my group, his wife passed, and that's when they had the funeral. Okay, so last couple of things. Traditionally, what do we have on the grill this week, because we didn't go anywhere? That. So we had some country ribs, and in the middle there with that big honking piece of meat, that's a prime rib. We were afraid that it was going to go bad, so we had to throw it out there. So that's lunch for the next couple of days. And Mrs. McGolf made some pasta salad. Man, oh man. So that worked. That turned out pretty good. I'm real happy with it. Okay, last but not least, another what we call a shameless plug here. Pars and Pours. There we go. Pars and Pours. This is hole number 4. All right, this is hole number 4. It's a Battle of the Ryes, i.e. the Ryder Cup, and that's Castle and Key, and that's Willett. Hole number 5 actually went out today, But if you get the chance, if you do, if you wouldn't mind going over, take a look at Pars and Pours, like and subscribe there and see what you think. And let me know, because it's a fledgling thing. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best thing for, the golf and whiskey industry. Okay, let's see. We got all that. So on another group, they talked about single malts, and I said I haven't had a single malt in forever. I've got a bottle up there, and they all dared me to open it up and drink it on this program. So this is a New Riff single malt. New Riff is out of Cincinnati, Covington area. And you can smell the malted. It's a 116 proof malted whiskey. Some sugar, some malts. Wow, that's not bad. Malts normally get associated with Scotch. There's the drying part of it, and the Scotches have kind of that. I've always had that drying funk, and when we first started, that was what I was drinking. I put a little bit of ice in it to kind of tame it a little bit. A little hot, no, not so bad, but you got the malt. We'll have to let it set a little bit longer and see what happens. All right, let's get to the questions. All righty, here we go. Now, I don't know about you guys. We'll get to the weather part because I've had some guys get on me about talking about the weather a lot. The weather in this part of the world has been outstanding, right? Starts in about the 60s, getting to the 80s. I cannot complain one bit. Not one bit. Today I wake up with my nose just dripping ever so slightly. Not enough to be one of those things, I got to carry anything, but just enough to be a pain in the butt, right? Ugh. Just one of those. All right. There's Matt. 76 and 70 this weekend. Had some driver trouble, but got it squared away. Question, how many players just use one type of golf ball? I'm a Chrome Soft guy. Well, and Matt does because he doesn't put a lot of spin on the ball per se, and the Chrome Soft is a good rebound, and it gets off of him. I, on the other hand, have a steeper angle of attack, and I use the Chrome Soft, or I use the Chrome Tour ball, which is kind of the predecessor of the Chrome XLS, but this one feels really, really good. Now, as a trick here, I've also found that the Wilson Staff ball, the new Wilson Staff ball, works in very much the same manner, but doesn't claim any of that stuff. I hit it just fine. It feels great coming off the club. And the X ball in that particular one is like the longest ball in the My Golf Spy testing. So if you guys are out there looking for a golf ball, if you get a chance, give them a shot. Charlie says, nice rounds, Matt. I use the Z Star, the XV and Z Star from Srixon. Oh, the Z Star XV, Atlee VX more. Yeah. Now, I like that. I like that a lot in that when we visit, I got to be on the Srixon trailer, and they said when the VX was coming out, and they said the pros were all over that one. They like that one a lot. I'd say that's a very nice golf ball, too. All right. What goodies, Matt, what goodies do you think Jim will show us today? Well, you got to see him right there. Now, for you, you got to see it right here. Look how dark that is. New Riff single malt, 116. See if you get into some of that. Oh, by the way, I just got a new shipment of 2-ounce bottles. Woohoo! All righty. Jesse Ross is in Atlanta saying hello. What do you say, bud? There's G27. That's the guy that we were talking about. That is him right there. Nice. So the real question is did you make it in 2 days, or did you? Because he was leaving Ohio and driving down to Texas in this sports car, and I was wondering whether or not the comfort factor would cause him to have to stop a little bit more. But we need to see. Did you get it? Did you get it all done in the 2 days? Well, let's see. Is it Atlanta or hot Atlanta? No doubt. It's rainy Atlanta right now. No clue. There's Peter from Myrtle Beach. Depending on the conditions, he plays either the Pro V or the Pro V1X. There we go. I think we're going to see a lot of that. The more I let it set, the more it's like a really bright version of a scotch. Phil K from Austin. I'm sweating. I am sweating one in the garage right now, trying to pretend I'm younger. He's working out. He's got to keep that rehab going. Stephen uses the Wilson staff. There's 2 for the Wilson staff. I guess 2 for the Wilson staff, 2 for the other one, because I'll take this 2. All righty. Michael Colburn, how do you swing faster without swinging harder? Ooh, I like that question. I really like that question. So there's a couple of ways. Number one is, and I do have some videos of this in my library for working out. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to swing faster without swinging harder is to do specific golf exercises. All right. They don't mean you got to be lifting a ton of weights. It doesn't mean you got to spend 30 to 40 minutes every single day out there. It means that, here we go. Is it going to do it? Yep. There we go. What it means is that you do these strength training for shoulders, core, hips, legs, different ones, and you do them in different cycles. Now, the guy that showed me how to do these is J.P. Guidry, and he's a doctor, a physical therapy doctor, and a TPI certified instructor, and one heck of a golfer. And I'm here. I only did it 3 times a week, and I was able to get my distance up. I was hitting the previous versions of the Apexes, and I got an 8, and I said, I want my goal to hit an 8-iron 180, and I was already hitting at 170 or 165 to 170, and I got to 180 in 4 weeks. Now you got to keep doing it. It just doesn't like, hey, I know how to do that from there, but that's what happens. That's the easiest way to think about it, Michael, is that the easiest way to get there without even thinking about it, so you don't have to change any mental or physical things. It just happens. Okay, you just get faster. Now, another way too is, and we go over this in our fittings quite a bit, because the difference between swinging harder and swinging faster, right? So what we talk about is when you're out there with your buddies and they go, hey, Michael, we really need you to throw one out in the yard. You better hit this ball pretty hard. Well, most male golfers automatically go to the hammer and nail philosophy. I got to hit it hard. I got to hit it hard to get it out there. And the ball gives a crap about how hard you hit it, but it does care about how fast you hit it. Okay, about how fast you hit it. So the question is, how do you make faster, right? How do you make faster? And in every instance, the muscles that are less tense, they'll say, I'll just relax. And that's not a bad connotation. However, it also comes with that idea that I got to swing slower. No, that's why I say tension free. So if you say tension free, now you're like, okay, so now what makes you go faster? Some people will say it's the core. Some people will say it's your wrist. Some people will say it's your arms. And because each person's a little bit different in how they deliver that club to the ball. But the idea here is tension free. So I'll give you an example. When you hit one and somebody in your group, they hit that one off the tee and they hit the dribbler. And of course, in a mad fit of rage, they throw down the I don't care ball and they put it on the tee and they swack it and it goes off and it's 25 yards longer than they've ever thought about hitting it. That is the I don't care shot. Why? Because it was tension free. All it was about generating speed. It had nothing to do with anything else. There was no consequence. There was nothing. that is where that comes from. And so you got to hit the I don't care shot, right? And then you got to make it a routine. And with my buddy Bob, and we go after each other on this all the time, because when you allow the club to actually swing instead of you swinging the club, good things start happening. But for me, that's how I get it across. So if you think about it, last bit of this, and when you go to baseball, since baseball's all on, and you see them and they're all waggling the bat and they're stepping in the box and they're doing like this, but the minute that pitcher starts, tunk, and they get going and they stop to prevent this from happening. Same thing in golf. You see them waggling their golf club, you see their feet moving, then the feet stop. And as soon as that club stops, they're starting to swing back and they're swinging forward in order for golfing rigor mortis not to show up. So hopefully that helps. All right, Stephen, hello from Tennessee. Yay, the AC's back on. And because the AC's back on, he got down to 78 in both days. Good for you, sir. We're glad that you're back in the norm. Hopefully you set with some ice cubes or something to make it cooler just for the spite of the heat. All righty. Robin talking to Matt and Sally and to Charlie. And there's Braden. What do you say, bud? Hopefully you're doing well with the golf clubs. Excellent round, Stephen. No doubt. I would say exactly that. Charlie saying hello. Saying I have shoe shopping, so we will be listening. Who's getting the shoes this time around? With what they got going on, is there a special volleyball shoe or a special soccer shoe out there that we need to get? Okay. We got from G says, great milestone. Thank you. We appreciate that. And One Par Shooter says, congrats. Thank you again. Yeah, it is, 20 plus years in anything's a milestone for, business, owning a car, marriage, all that stuff. Just so happens we're into the 40-ish year now because she's old. But anyway, but thank you. I never thought it would get this far. I thought we would be done earlier than we were. All right. John Cherry says, congrats to both of you. Thank you very much. Oh, here we go. I knew Dan was going to be on here. Says, happy, Jim Robb, happy golf anniversary. Thank you, buddy. And I see Opus Wedges will be released September 12th. Fingers crossed for a raw release. No doubt, right? We just saw a picture of them today, or Robin saw a picture of them today and showed me, and I breezed right by it because we're trying to figure out a wedge. It's funny that those things will be out, and we still have some Opus wedges on order, and they're going to be here after the release of the new one. I don't know. I just don't know. Thomas Vaughn says, impressive. Thank you, sir. Would that be for golf shoes, Matt? That's what we're trying to figure out. I'm thinking no. Chances are if they're shopping, and he just says him and Sally, maybe Sally's looking for some shoes. And they could be golf shoes at that point now that she kind of likes it. Rumson had Jesse. Mark Nat, what do you say, buddy? All righty, riddle me this. Over 95% of the players will pay $406 for a driver. However, for a putter, they complain about $250 for one. Interesting, since the average golfer over is where half the strokes come from. No doubt, right? It's an ego thing. That's exactly what it is, and the companies know it, right? The companies know it. They know that if you can distance is an ego-driven thing, so you can outdrive your buddies or outdrive your competition, that they will get that, And now you're starting to see books where, particularly when you hit drive for show, putt for dough out there. Well, now you're starting to see books on, well, yeah, it's good to hit it as far as you can, and misses aren't that important. Well, I'd say hitting as far as you can is a good thing. I wouldn't be trying to be too conservative, but if you're so wild that you got to punch one out, then yeah, that's a problem. And so there's all these books that, the stats show this. Look, I've done most of my life in the nuclear industry, and numbers are vitally important. However, I've also found out that if you're a smart enough cat, you can manipulate numbers to make it say what you want to, too. So you have to be very, very careful. Know your weaknesses and make them your strengths. And the thing is, Peter, if you find a $250 putter nowadays, you're at the bottom end of the scale now. We can thank Scotty Cameron, and we can thank the new Odyssey stuff for that. Although Odyssey does have one in that particular range you've got there, but they also have some in the very high end. I mean, look at Lab. I mean, Lab is another one of those things. I think it's a very well working putter, but you do any kind of modification to it, and it's a $600 putter. So it's all what you need. If you're hitting the driver very well and you can't putt worth a crap, then maybe spending that money on there. But make sure you get it the right one for you. Unlike that wooden one that you got. That thing's a beastie. All right. Robin says, hello, G27, great meeting you, and thanks for stopping in. Yep. Steven says, Charlie, hopefully I can keep this up a couple weeks when I head into the Myrtle Beach World Am. That's cool. I'm glad you get to go, Steven. I've always wanted to try that. I really have. And I've been there. I been there. Oh, geez. I bet it's been 10 years, 15 years now. I was actually part of it when they had before it became the PGA Superstore one. And we fixed a bunch of golf clubs for the amateur golfers that were there, gave them kind of like the pro treatment, and worked on golf clubs and all kinds of stuff. It was a lot of fun. I do have the story for that one. The guy from New York, and he was every bit the New Yorker. He's like, hey, can you bend me some of them clubs over there? And I'm like, yeah, man, bring them on over here. We can talk about some clubbages. He says, you making fun of me? I said, absolutely, I'm making some fun of you. And then we're great buds. And we started bending it, and we were bantering back and forth and having a phenomenal time. And I look up, and there are golfers lined up 4 and 5 deep and as wide as the booth would go to watch me bend a golf club. I thought, I'm just bending a golf club, and these guys were intrigued. You would have thought I was juggling 6 balls or something. And then I turned around, and there was even some guys looking at me that were doing this with me, and they're like, are you really going to bend it? They're like, yeah, why not? And they said, okay. And we got to talk, and I got them all bent, and there's just like we were having at it. It was a great time. It was a lot of fun, but it just, those kinds of interactions with people just makes it all worth the while. Okay. Jesse says, hi, Robin. Peter says, putting and only 14 strokes come from a driver. The numbers are with us, bud. You're preaching to the choir. Charlie says, that is an excellent question. I agree. Worked in the garage yesterday and was thinking the same thing. Were you really? We're in the midst of that. I wonder if I got a picture of that. Hold on a second. Did I make a picture of that? Let's see if I can make a picture for you. We'll get down here to the bottom and see if it survived the transfer. It's one of those things where you just look and you go, boy, oh boy, I'd like to transfer this over here. And yeah, okay. And you go, I think I got it transferred. And it says you transferred it, and then you can't find it. So I can't find it, so I can't show you. But anyway, we're building a garage. And so when we're building a garage, stuff is going to fly from one facility to another. So we're going to see what happens with that. Okay. Tom Weishapple. Let's see if did I say that right? Weishapple? Anyway, he's got an old Ping Zing copper putter. It has a fluted shaft in it. I'm told they don't make fluted shafts anymore. Any way to make a new shaft fit? Well, sure it does. The fluted shaft, the flute is, I wish I could show you, but the fluted shaft, Tom, is basically we'll call it a decoration for lack of a better term. At the bottom, so what he's talking about, if you had, here we go. We'll use this. I know this is not a putter, but bear with me. So what he's talking about, a shaft that goes in here on a putter, and he's a ping putter, and it's a ping zing putter. So it means it's got a plumber's neck on it. It means it's going into the hosel about this far. And then just slightly above it, there's flutes. And if you know anything about flutes, they're about this long, and they go all the way around the shaft up about this high above it. And what it was a way to stiffen the bottom part of the shaft without going crazy on designs and stuff like that. And then when it went in. So to answer your question, Tom, the answer is yes. You could throw in another shaft at any time, to the point with what they've done is they figured out how to anneal the shafts at the bottom end to make them stiffer without the fluting, so you don't need it anymore. So hopefully that helped. And if you wanted to go really fancy, there are weighted golf shafts out there now. BGT, Acra, I think even GolfWorks might have one. And they're heavy, and so that it'll weigh you down and smooth out your stroke. It could be very, very nice. All right. Peter believes the distance thing, driver over putter. You are absolutely correct, Charlie. It is. It's every bit the ego club, and that's what it's for. Okay. Glad you got your AC working. Yes. Hello, Michael. If you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate that. I will readmit that one. Please do that. Ram says, thanks, G27. Stephen and Peter, I was one of those until this year. I finally went through my first ever fitting for a putter. Coincidentally, I'm putting better. Who would have thought? That last bit was kind of sarcastic. But yeah, I mean, it is amazing the difference. Even if you just having the right length of putter, the right lie angle of the putter can make a lot of difference, right? Then you start tweaking and how you putt. Are you a person that does like this on a putter, or are you like this on a putter, or are you like this on a putter? All those relate to different types of putters. Okay. And then do you like a lighter putter? Do you like a heavier putter? Do you like a taller putter? You know, and then the last part of it, and what ends up being very critical, is the grip. All right. Do you like a bigger grip? Do you like a thinner grip? Do you like a rubber grip? Do you like a round grip? Do you like a traditional style, or do you like the newer ones that come out like the Garson has got? All those play into a level of confidence in order for you to putt better. To the point, this very tall golfer that I fit not too long ago, and he putt with a standard length putter, 35-inch putter. Man, this guy was bent over like he was getting ready to tie his shoes. And I'm like, do you want to putt like that forever? And he goes, well, no, I want to stand up. And I said, and he says, and I tend to like a heavier putter. I said, easy peasy, I got that one for you. And we got him into an Odyssey AI Cruiser, and the Cruisers are 38-inch putters that are heavier. They're heavier by design. They got the extra long grip in it, and that's heavier down there. And then they make the putter head bigger and slightly heavier to counterbalance all that stuff out. Man, oh man. As soon as I gave him 38-inch and he started putting, oh, geez. He was already a good putter. He just became an even better putter. There we go. Hello, Par Shooter. Thank you. Peter, Charles, I agree. However, a good putter can always save you strokes. Ask Jim after Bob sinks putts from all over the green. No doubt, right? No doubt. And that's why, and he knows it, and I've said it on here before, and Bob's, if he's watching, he's laughing his ass off right now. We get out there after about 3 holes, he's figured out these greens and the speeds, and if he's got a 40-footer, just give it to him. But if he's got a 3-footer, make him putt it. And the guy's just got a touch. He's just got a touch for that. Charlie is agreeing with us. Hello, Dan. Thank you. Just saw a picture of the new Opus today. Yeah, we'll have to check into that one. I can't believe that they wouldn't do a raw. I mean, they've done a raw in about every other one, so I don't know why they wouldn't again. I'm saying hello there, hello there. Peter, Stephen, me too. I spend more time in the putting and short game area than on the driving range. Good man, Peter. Good man. Peter, that's a good question. I often wonder when I get that response. Yep. John Lamb. Hi, all. Anniversary. Well, kudos to you guys. Always nice to see folks maintaining a loving relationship, even they do yell "what" from another room a lot. Oh, you have no idea how true that is. You know, don't say anything for 5 minutes. The minute you get in the other room, conversation begins, and it's funny because I'm guilty too. Sonic, is there such a thing as clip-on ferrules? Well, there just happens to be. Or ferrules that you can put on after the head has already been glued. If not, should I invent it? Also, I got to try the Hogan Apex blades and love them. Oh, good. I was wondering if you got a chance for it. So yes, they do, and they did. Let's put it that way. I don't know if they have them available anymore. And what they did is they took a ferrule and they split it, but somewhere in the middle it went like this, and then the receiver end went like that, and you literally clipped them together. You glued them together and you slid them down, and you did that so you didn't have to take off the head. Now, did it look good? I'm going to say no, but that's from me being a club maker liking a complete around. You say, well, you could just melt them together. Not really. There's always going to be a bit of a line there. Now, if you lined it up so the lines were going face to the back of the face and not the other way, and you line it up just right, it could look cosmetically pleasing. But and again, if you don't have the confidence or the ability to take the heads off and put them back on, then yeah, it's definitely a thing. I'm sure they sold their fair share, but they do have them. They're called split ferrules, I think. And I'm pretty sure GolfWorks did it. I'm giving you the one eye because I don't know. But the other person that might know where they're at is a place called Billy Bob Ferrules, and they're in California. And if they're not on their website, if you call them, they most likely will know where, or they look in a stash drawer and maybe have some. Hello, John Lamb, 20 years, still full-time business. Yep. Do you mean old clip-on ties? That too. I remember that as a young man. Hello, Sonic. John Lamb. Sonic, they do make a split ferrule. GolfWorks has them. There it is. So GolfWorks does have them. I should have looked them up, but let's see while we're talking. All right. GolfWorks. And there it is. So as we're still looking, Charlie says 179 yard. Does he need? No, not a 9-iron, Charlie. It was a 7-iron. Sorry, a 7-iron. Which for guys in his 60s, that was pretty good. High 60s too. There it is, split ferrule. Let's see if I can show you. Well, yeah, it does what I think it does, but there you go. And what they've done in this one, this one looks a little different. It looks like they've got little pieces that clip together. The seams are straight now, and they attach and they click inside. There you go. So yeah, they do. Let's see. I'll give you one more thing here. And they're $3.99 a piece. And they got 370s, 355s. I'm sorry, 370s, 335s for woods, and 350 woods. So there you go. Look at that. We're all about helping folks out. Way to go, John. Steven, glad your AC is finally back on. Did you have a nice long sleep when they got it back online? No doubt, right? I can only imagine. Set that bad boy down and just probably have to change out change out half the linen because of all the humidity that the house sucked in. So, Charlie, if you like a malt, that one wasn't bad. Has the malted note, which is really not that bad of a thing. Has a malted note, and it's not as off-putting as I thought it was going to be. Very good. What a rough menu for lunch. I know, right? Barbecued ribs, a little bit of the pasta salad. And I didn't get to show you, but we also, when we were at Starlight, Robin found the farmer. There's a farmer's market at Starlight, and they got it all. And she went in there and picked up some green beans to make some green bean and bacon and green beans, ham and green beans, that kind of thing. And I picked up 6 ears of corn, and they had the bicolor. I'm not a fan, but they had the regular corn that came in, and I've had 2 of them already, and man, are they good. Holy cow. They're not real big kernels, but man, they're tasty. Oh, there you go. Ha ha. Corn on the cob is good, especially roasted on the grill. This time we just put it in the boiling water. We went old school with it, but yeah, roasted on the grill is good, especially when you want to try and make some of that Mexican corn. We talked about that, where you can. I imagine you dip it in water, you put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, husk and everything, and then after 2 minutes, you just cut off the back end and just slide the whole thing off, and you're good to go. I'm going to try that. Stephen, you have no idea. The long one. There you go. I think it was a 7-iron, and it was. All righty. John says, Stephen kind of worked industrial refrigeration. Is it doing it again? Industrial refrigeration. There we go. I'm going to get it again. Worked industrial refrig 7 steam. And when we pulled up on a site, the guys would be coming out of the woodwork for auto and home and AC repairs. Oh, I can only imagine. John Timmons. Good afternoon, Jim and Robin, from a warm Phoenix, Arizona, the gimpy old golfer. Hey, bud. Thank you for showing up. John Lamb says, Charlie, my 7-iron's 170 on a great day, 160, 160 on normal, kind of out of sync days. Well, there you go. Jesse Ross, Titleist for me, no question about it since I started my golfing many years ago. There you go. Titleist's the #1 ball in golf. I mean, by sales, by far and away. I think Callaway's trying to catch him, but it'll take another golf ball that does extraordinarily well in order to take another bite out of it, because you're only going to be taking, it's in percentages, and they've taken a percentage or 2 from them, but the lead is just so big, they need another oomph to go get more. John, if we ever play, I'm asking you for strokes. No kidding. Braden, thanks for fitting in the Mizuno irons. I'm glad you liked them, dude. I think when we stumbled onto them, they made a huge difference in the way that you were striking the ball. So good for you. Kent Nicholson. Kent! TP5X. All right. So we've got them all. John Lamb says, Wilson staff and was fitted for Titleist Laguna putter when Mr. Cameron was working for Titleist. Oil can model, never left the bag, well, maybe a bit when it misbehaves occasionally. Yeah. You're back there when he was working for Titleist, man. You got yourself a piece of history right there. Long time no see, yeah. How's that retired life? Worn old man, Charlie, but I'm awake tonight, so all good. Hey, I bet he's tired from golfing with the missus during the day. That's what's happening. Okay. John Lynn says, Charlie, I don't know. After the score you posted last week, I think maybe I should be asking for strokes. Kent doing well, shot my age a week ago Sunday. You missed it, man. It was record setting, absolutely record setting. He was in the zone. Johnny seen me negotiating that one. You better believe it. Robin says hi to Braden. And Kent, we missed you. Look at that. Craig Stark, looking forward to getting my Tacomos. Well, I think they turned out, dude. I was inches away from emailing you to see if I could hit them. Because being a lefty, I don't get too many lefty repairs in here, and the Tacomos are they're an interesting lot. That one seemed to be a little bit nicer than the other ones I've done. And I like how they turned out. They turned out very, very well. The Golf Addicts in says, hi, guys, and cheers. Ken Nicholson hosted Up and Down Golf and Gary Martin Golf at Halifax recently. Just got posted to YouTube. Oh, we'll have to check that one out. Up and Down Golf and Gary Martin Golf. I'll have to see that one. I'm actually getting greens in regulation now. We got Braden hooked up. It was a little different. We took him on we were going down this particular path, and then I gave him a quick exit ramp, and we hit another one, and all of a sudden we were there. And so that turned out really, really well. I'm glad to like it. Because you get the Gers now going, because he actually plays a little bit of that amateur competitive golf. So we got him upgraded a little bit. So they ship today. There we go. You shot a 55, Charlie. Yeah. Congrats on 20 years to both. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I wish he's 72 now. But shooting a 72 anytime is great. Ping DLX cart bag actually melted the side. Wait a minute. My Ping DLX cart bag actually melted the side of it. Some kind of reaction, and the bag became an all tar and messed up the back of the SUV. Chemical reaction from the heat. I wrote Ping a letter. Wow. Wow. What do you do about that? That is something that didn't hurt it sucks that it got in the back of the SUV, but did it hurt any of the clubs? If it's all melty and tarry like that, I'm sure some of it got on there. Wow. Well, now we got the public service announcement. Watch out for Ping DLX cart bags and heat. And we're talking about a guy that's in Canada, so what kind of heat are we talking about? Thank you, Charlie. Hello. Kent's not too far behind Charlie. Well, when we start seeing you posting that you've shot your age, we'll go from there. Got to go kick dinner. Have a good one. See you, Braden. Appreciate you showing up, bud. Let us know how they're working. Thanks for joining. Yep. Kent says, Debbie had 17 pairs of golf shoes at the last count, Jim. Apparently, they need to match your clothing. Well, I would imagine. I can't say much. I got 5 pairs, and they're all of the Squares golf shoes. They're just different colors. And I bought them at different kinds when they kept they're different evolutions of Squares golf. I got the originals, and I got some others, and then I got their latest one, and so I switch them up. So hopefully they'll last me for quite a bit. My dog Rex, there he is. It says hit that thumbs up, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, what was that thing at one time? Lab has been sold. I saw that. They bought 51%, some conglomeration of people bought 51% of the company, and they're still keeping the original guy on as the CEO. So we'll see how that one works out. I think really what's helping him, his popularity of the popularity was starting to soar. That's the thing. Now, but he's always, money's always a thing. And if this company comes in and buys it out, maybe they'll have a little deeper pocketbook and be able to do a little bit more, more advertising, more different things, and maybe expand with their line. Hopefully Ping does something. An expensive bag like that should not be doing that. Well, I wouldn't think any bag should be doing that. If it's going to melt in the back of your car, holy cow. That's not good. But yes, I hope so too. Hopefully, let us know. I'd like to know what happens on that one. She's still living it, Charlie. Here we go. Michael Starzanik. I'm not going to even say it. I told him last week I wasn't going to do it just so that I wouldn't operate it. So, aloha. Been loving my Odyssey Tri-Ball SRT for 18 years now. Just upgraded my flat stick with a Golf Pride reverse tapered pistol grip. It does make a difference. There you go. That's not the first time a reverse taper has showed up, but that reverse taper isn't as reverse tapered as the first one was. The first one was rubber, and it was a monster at the end and very teeny weeny at the back. And it's not quite what we wanted. This one is a little bit more real, I guess the best way to say it, more realistic in its approach. And I see where a lot of people like it too. It doesn't feel bad. Kind of that squarish kind of vibe. I've been lucky to have played at the World Am 25 times all the way back to the DuPont World Am. And 85. Wow. Charlie, here you go. Peter's setting a record. Are you going this year? And they hold it in August, quite possibly the hottest month down there. Rum says, hello, Michael. Careful, Jim. You don't want to upset Robin. Aloha, Robin. Same to you, sir. Peter, you've got some history there. Do they give out trophies for the most appearances? You would think that would, even when they've got that, there's probably somebody out there that's done 26. 25 is impressive, though, man. 2.5 centuries. Uh-huh. So order me a new Sun Mountain C130. I will not try that type of material again in a golf bag. In the PDX, some type of material supposedly as Vestal go still dumbfounded. Huh. That's just unique. It's right up there with spontaneously combusting. But the C130, you're not going to get any argument here. We're big Sun Mountain fans. We like them. In fact, if you look, there's one right there. Right there. Yep. Did some skating on thin ice. Is the boy. Yeah. Oh, listen to that. You guys get off of it. Golf X Sun Mountain has been the best customer service. You get it right. Tell him his camera is reversed, Robin. That'll confuse him trying to get it right. Well, it's this doggone thing. I got this itch right here. It won't go away. And the thing keeps turning off and on. Anyway, Sun Mountain makes good bags. That's what I use. Me too. Had a few returns in 20 years, and they make it right. All right, Golf Addict says he shot a 72-73 last couple of days, so them TaylorMades are working out for you. Hope I can do that next week at the club championship. You bet anything I shoot 84, 86, I always poop in the That's because it's too much pressure on yourself, man. Just go out there and go, yeah, I got this in the bag. Play with confidence. Don't play conservative. Get that course just like you did when you shot the 70s rounds because you didn't hold back then. Ogio here got worse since the Callaway takeover, but still, in my eyes, the best stand bag on the market. Okay. Ogio makes a pretty decent little backpack. I know that. Outstanding rounds. Just stay relaxed. You'll do fine. There we go. That's what we're trying to tell him. Easier to say than do. Truly. But if you can get in there, I mean, he's in Canada, so you get in there, maybe a couple of Maybe a couple of these, maybe one of these with some Canadian whiskey in it, it'd be fine. I'm getting some confidence boosters. Absolutely. There we go. Jesse says, congrats on reaching 21 years. Hoping we got another 21. That would be a lot. I think I'd be up here trying to figure out who I am. Jesse, 42 years of marriage, but not going to do 20 more years in business. Well, you heard it from the boss. Golfworks did do them, Jim. They were pumped. Looked ugly even when polished up. Yeah. But hey, if that's where you want to go, that's where you can go. Jim Robbins, 61 years, and then she passed. Beautiful years. Well, we're sorry to hear about that, Jesse, but glad you got 61 years in. There we go. Robin, sorry I missed the beginning. Thought it was a wedding anniversary, but still kudos for the shop longevity. Thank you, sir. Kid says 61 is awesome, and I would have to agree. You were blessed to enjoy them together, and I agree again. Robin's talking. Robin's talking again. Charlie, love me some green beans, especially with bacon. There you go. I tried to get her to. I said, well, if you get them done and they turn out, we need to go get us some cornbread, and then we got ourselves a meal. All righty. My dog Rex says his AC is at 79 in the house. Feels cool every time I walk in. At 75, I would need a sweatshirt. Dude, I don't know if I could do that. 75 would be tough for me too. Green beans aren't good for you, Charlie. They're a vegetable. There you go. Oh, what's John say? Corn on the cob tricks. Here we go. Oh. Soak your corn on the cob in salt water, brine for about an hour before throwing it on the grill. Makes it very tasty. That sounds like a deal. I used to dip mine in the water, but I didn't do it for an hour. I just run enough water in it so that it would get in between the leaves of the husk, and go for it from there. The other one, Charlie, I'm staying in the new riff, Blue Courage. That was a limited release from them. It's a 100-proofer. Mark says, embarrassed to say I've never heard clip-on ferrules. I inherited a couple of bags of what I thought were broken ferrules. That's why I tune every Monday. Well, there you go. Learn a little something new. Kent, if they help you hit the ball straighter and further, they can't be all bad. Vegetables. Michael says, Strixons have been my go-to ball since 2003 when I was stationed in Pearl Harbor. Well, there you go. I think Strixon makes a really good golf ball, to be honest with you. You know, when I get off camera, this nose is going to stop itching. I don't know what's in there, but Michael, I love playing military courses on the island when in Pearl Harbor. Of all the places I wanted to go, that was one of the places I wanted to be stationed. I wanted to be stationed there in the worst sort of way, and I tried everything to stay on the West Coast, and my detailer was having none of it. Says, you're right, you're being a nuke, you got to get on that East Coast. I said, no, I don't. Send me over there. You got nuke boats in the Pearl Harbor. Says, yep, and everybody wants to go there. And I said, well, yeah, mark me as one of them. Let's go. He says, no room at the end. And so there we go. I got the West Coast. Rob and I got time at Bremerton, Washington, and Overhaul. The rest of it has been on the East. Kipper course in Conahoy is my favorite, but the Navy Marine course is nice test. The Armor courses at Schofield was very nice. Those, you know what? The cool part about those is I don't know if they did it over there, but on the East Coast, you got price breaks depending on your rank. Hickam was okay as well. Only the outside of the peen bag. Oh, good. Well, at least it didn't get on your golf clubs. That's just kind of gross then. Maybe it was just the protective coating that they put on it. Michael, I played all of those. I was going to say Hickam. It was a nice course by the ocean on some of the holes. Well, there you go. Kent says Ping's a solid company, a new bag on the way, I'll bet. Well, hopefully it is. That would be the right thing to do, right? Is to send them a new bag. Of course, it would be really nice if they, the cleaning costs were cut out, assuming it damaged something. Sticky tar-like substance you can't imagine. Okay. Golf, I hope you're right. Yep. Keith Saltzman, what do you say, bud? Love the 60-degree wedge I just got from you, making the scores go lower. Well, I'm glad, bud. Appreciate it. He said he wrote him a long email. We'll see if they go there. Golf squirts. Well, when you're doing those YouTube videos, you can't look like you're wearing the same stuff all the time, man. Needs to be looking good. See, that's what I'm talking about. Michael, Navy Marine was good to us. We got preferred tee times being with rim pack. After we played there in the morning, we'd head to another military course on the island for a back 18. Oh, shoot. Very good. And over 100 shirts. Woo-wee. That's a lot of golf clothes right there, man. Okay, what do we got here? John says he has an old Santa Fe. There's Mrs. McGolf right there. I have an old Santa Fe putter oil can from the same era. It creeps in the bag every once in a while. Took a bit to find the fluted shaft for it, though. Caught it in a revolving door. Hoo-wee. Now, there for a while, they made replacement shafts for them that you could buy like at Golf Works or at a shaft company. But it just kind of fell out of vogue, so you can get a regular one. Now, it would just be for those people in the know, it'd just be a glowing, this is not the original shaft, but at least you can use it. In 2.5 days, played 90 holes of golf. Wow. That's what he said. Just got back from the Copa Field breast cancer charity event. Debbie three-peated, won herself a shot. Oh, nice. Three-peated, huh? Nicely done. She's got some game, it sounds like. Nixon used the Woody as well. Love the single sleeves for the woods. Have one in the cart and one in the stand bag. Look at that. Must be a decent one to do. I use a shot scope and like it. There you go. A G6. I don't have no idea what the model numbers are. He's got an X5, so I don't know what the difference is. Okay. What was the previous watch, Charlie? She's won 2 of those in her previous 2 wins. Oh, man. Must be nice. Okay. Hey, it's Herman. How you say, bud? Michael uses the OGO Stinger 2 bag for 18 years with the velour top. It finally became a terry mess. 91% technical alcohol cleaned up my golf shafts right up, and I invested in a Callaway cargo bag. Pretty sweet design. There you go. That'll get you around. Okay. Correct. That's the right thing to do, Jim. I'd say so. Still, it has with labels. There you go. Got to run by. I'll be well and safe. Cheers. And thank you, bud. Thanks for the info. Let us know how the ping thing works out. And we're there. All right. We got down to the end. Everybody's saying goodbye. We're at the end of the time frame. Again, a couple of things. I did put out the video for, it's called Ping's Dirty Little Secret and Golf Repair. They went out Sunday. If you like, please go back and look at it and see what you think. On the other channel, Pars and Pours, I released holes 4s and 5s. Again, it's the Ryder Cup, and we'll see who's going on. This could just be more. And as always, guys, thank you from around the world, basically. We missed Krister today. I wonder where he went to. like to see that part of it. And again, thanks for the questions. Glad that we learned a little something about golf bags and split ferrules. All right. So again, please check it out. Hit that like and thumbs up if you would. And as always, let's see your scores. Go low.